What's up, Leafs fans? Welcome back to another Leafs Nation After Dark. I'm Zack Phillips, and tonight we're going to be breaking down game number 32 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season as they defeat the Dallas Stars here tonight, 5-2. We're going to break down what went right, some things that I still think didn't look so pretty here tonight, and we'll also be joined by Jay Rosehill to help us break this one down throughout the course of the show here tonight, while we also answer your questions, get to the chat, look at the super chats, all that kind of stuff. But before we can go anywhere, before we can do anything tonight, and we can get the legend himself, Jay Rosehill, who seems to always come on the post-game show when this team wins, I want to remind you guys that this is a presentation of Bet365. Proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation After Dark. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. That's code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N, all caps, and you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And it is a good day for us on Bet365, but we'll get into that later on the show here as well. Before we dig into anything else as well, just another quick reminder off the top for those of you who are new to the channel, for new to the post-game show, or if you've come back and you've just forgot what's going on here. We do have a new initiative here on the channel this season, and it is a very, very cool one. We have a Super Chat charity partner this season, and it is none other than Sick Kids. If you want to make sure your question or comment gets on the show, hit us with a super chat. Proceeds from our super chat will go to Sick Kids, Canada's first children's hospital and the top research-intensive children's hospital in Canada and third in the world. So very cool. For those of you wondering how to buy a super chat or a super sticker, just click the dollar sign within a live chat. The live chat must be visible. Select one of the following: super sticker, and then find a sticker pack, or super chat, and then select the amount by dragging the slider, or type your desired value and add an optional message. Click buy and then send. To finish your purchase, just follow those instructions. Click it along, and then we will read your questions, comments, concerns throughout the course of the show here tonight. But yeah, I mean, this was a interesting game from this Leafs team. A great one to walk away with on a win here, because I mean, to have that kind of battle here tonight where you start crappy, you don't have a greatest start against the Stars, then you're able to battle back and win this one 5-3 against a team who is incredible at home, and a goaltending performance out of Joseph Woll that was absolutely out of this world. That's a fun game to watch, especially coming off of ones over the weekend where we kind of looked at it and was like, you know what? I don't think that this was the greatest weekend. I think there was some ups and downs. It was kind of following, a stretch of hockey for this Leafs team that in itself was also not that pretty, but you found a way. Like, you found a way against a really good Dallas team who's been incredible at home so far this season. So I think at the end of the day, you can be at least happy about that one. And to help us break that down and see if maybe he is happy about this one as well, I teased it off the top. The man, the myth, the legend. He always finds himself on the post-game show with a win. But Jay Rosehill, welcome to another edition of Leafs Nation After Dark. How you feeling tonight, Rosie?
Zachariah, I'm actually quite happy, man. It didn't start great, and I was really hyper-focused on that top line, and I was like, wow, after that first, and then just whammy, they found a way. I don't even, like, Ottinger looked bad, but
Yeah.
can't even blame him. It was like, just they found their chances and capitalized on them, and that third line I can't say enough about right now. That's just how you get a win when you don't start perfectly, and I'm over happy by it. I'm overly happy with the performance.
Well, I said in the pregame too, like, Ottinger, that was 6 straight games for Ottinger, which is just like a sneaky, like, kind of quiet thing that you don't really think about or don't really realize too much, is like, how, like seriously, Rosie, when was the last time you could remember a goalie in today's game within like the last, I don't know, 5 years, let's say, playing 6 consecutive games? I legitimately can't think of one.
You gotta go. I mean, has Hellebuck done that? It's not a lot of guys. That
I don't even know.
6 is nuts, but Yeah, and I took for granted the fact that he would just be damn good and we'd have to
Yeah.
take our chances to get through them. And we did not start like we were going to. I'm like, how are we going to beat these guys if this is the garbage we're starting with? Like, how many shots? Look, we had 2 shots after they had what, 12 or 14 or something. I'm like, what's going on right now? And first line looked brutal. I had power plays garbage. And I'm like, am I really going to end off completely pissed off about this performance? And that's the thing about this damn team, especially this year. They
Yeah.
snap their fingers and they're like, no, we're here and we're capable. And that's exactly what they did. So no, if you're upset about the start, like, okay, that's something we can talk about or that they should address. I get it. They've had bad starts like 6 games in a row now. They never score the first goal lately, it seems. And it didn't seem to matter tonight. Like, yeah, address that. But overall, Jesus, you've got the pieces that got the job done, even when you were behind the 8 ball.
Are you okay? This is gonna sound stupid. Nick dismissed this, and he was like, "Ah, whatever. I've been a Leafs fan long enough. Like, I see this. I don't care. Like, regular season doesn't matter." And I agree to an extent. I kind of disagreed with him a little bit though, and I was like, "Process matters." So let me ask you this. I said to Nick, I was like, "Are you worried at all about the way the team is winning games over the last period?" I'm not talking about all season because there was like for the most of the year, they were actually playing really, really well. But they've gotten some wins here. I wouldn't necessarily put this full game in this category, but maybe for half of it. But like, you kind of play like shit. You don't deserve it. Your goalie steals it for you, and then you win. And it's like, oh wow, like what a game, what a win. But like, is it concerning long term? Because I think on the show, especially now how worn out we are, we're more so looking at the playoffs. Like one game, it doesn't really matter. Long term, what happens in game 83 once we go to April? Like, does that bother you? Because Nick was like, whatever, who cares? I was kind of like, I care right now.
Nick's always like that, man. Like, you could go, yeah, what's the greatest start in NHL history? I don't know, but you could go like 28-2 to start the year, and Nick could be like, means F all, means bug all. Show me the playoffs, doing the playoffs. It's like, okay, well, like, yeah, that's easy. But during a season, you're gonna hit little lulls, and it's around this time of the year. It's around those dog days in like early February. You could do it, and then you want to start to hit your stride in kind of that first, second week of March, and then bring it home and have all your ducks in a row. If this is one of those lulls like you're talking about and you're still rattling off wins, that's what good teams do. They still find ways to win when they're maybe not firing on all cylinders. They're not starting the games perfectly. Maybe they have some injury trouble, blah, blah, blah. This is exactly what this team's been through to this point. Maybe you want to call this a little bit of a lull where they had it one other time kind of earlier in the season, but you're still rattling off wins. That's a sign of a good team. And I think that teams in the past, even in the past 2 years, they have not only been winning games they shouldn't, they're losing games they should. And sometimes they still end up with a pretty good record in the regular season. But that's where Nick gets his, no, I don't, this doesn't, I've been down this road before. Don't get sucked in. And, maybe he's been proven right over and over again. So it's not like I'm knocking him for it, but I do believe in process. And I do think this team looks different. And I honestly thought, run the tape, that Craig Berube would be the difference maker, and they needed a guy at the helm to make them play the certain way because they do have the pieces to do better on paper. It's just a matter of accessing it. And I think that these are the games that show that they are different. They're able to win the games that they didn't have their best stuff, and that's a mark of a pretty damn good team.
Okay, so let's flip it the positive way then. These are winning ugly games. They're not playing like shit. These are winning ugly games. Is this a matter of Craig Berube coming in here and instilling this? Is this a matter of the guys that Brad Treliving brought in here? Is this a matter of the guys who were already in the room buying into what it takes to win? Or is this some kind of combination of all three, Rosie?
Well, what are we talking about? Them winning games they shouldn't, or
Winning
not
games they
playing
shouldn't.
perfect hockey?
Winning games
Yeah,
they
so
shouldn't.
that winning games they shouldn't is the mark of a good team who has a system in place that is conducive to having success. To me, that's these players are goddamn talented. There's a good mix of them. You have depth. You're getting goaltending. You have your superstars that someone steps up almost every night, and then they're coached the right way by Berube. Boom. That's what that is in my mind. But that doesn't mean that Berube's not sitting in his office right now going, what the hell is going on with our starts? We are sloppy. We are not paying attention to defense. Are we even going to be able to keep these top guys together? Yeah, Willie scored. That's awesome. And when a line like that gets together, there's going to be some head shaking. Did anyone think about being the third man high there? Did anyone realize the D man was pinching there? You're going to have those, but you give them one opportunity, which is what they got. Little space for Austin, little sauce pass over to Willie, and boom, she's buried. That's what you're waiting for with those guys. So touch and go with that kind of thing. But I guarantee you, Craig Berube is sitting here going, how the hell do we play more consistently and put together 60 minutes of effort? Because he knows as well as anyone that if this team puts together 60 minutes, they can beat anyone in the league, and they can probably beat any team in the league in a 7-game series. But it's just about who can put together that full game. So there's work to be done. They're not totally happy. They're not celebrating. They're not satisfied, but they're damn good.
Let's keep the positives going here. And it's kind of reverse of where we had been not too long ago talking about this team, whether it was me and Nick or me and you or listening to you boys on the morning show. And that's the third line producing, getting on the board here. They're kind of the guys who are the catalyst to get this thing in the right direction tonight. It's 1-0 Dallas. I'm sitting there going, oh, fuck, this one might be over before it even started. Dallas is going to run away. This is an unreal team at home, blah, blah, blah. And then it's Max Domi down the other way who makes a great play in the neutral zone, picks that thing off. Nick Robertson does a great job of being a threat on that play to not just make it all Max Domi, drives the net, drives the back post hard, and then Max Domi with a nice little move scores that first goal. It's Bobby McMahon later who makes that one 4-2. It was Nick Robertson with the steal in the neutral or in the slot, that scores a goal. That third line has now been incredible for 2 consecutive games. Is this something we can expect from these guys going forward? Did they just wake up? Is this a flash? Like, what the fuck is going on? And how did these guys get a jolt like this to be this effective over the last couple of games? I say it's Bobby McMahon. Like, the kid's unbelievable.
I was going to say Bobby McMahon is driving that, and he was hurt for a while. He comes back, and then, okay, you're healthy. Where is he going to slot? Who's he going to help? Max Domi. I have high expectations for Max Domi, and I know what he's capable of, and I think that he is a Toronto Maple Leaf who can make a big difference for this Toronto Maple Leaf team and continue that in the playoffs. Like, I really think that if these guys make a little run, and I think they can, he's going to be a big piece of it. And look at every team that does it. They have guys like him, those guys that are kind of multifaceted utility guys who have enough skill to be effective in games, but they work their bags off. They play with a bit of bark, with a bit of edge. They have enough speed. They have enough you know what I mean? He's the guy that needs to do that, and he's capable. Has he had a good start to the year? Not at all. Not by anyone's standards. But he's kind of lucky that he kind of gets to go under the radar. He's all set up. No one's like picking him apart. There's lots of stuff to talk about on this team. I was quietly just going, get your shit together, Domi. We know what you can do. And here it seems like he's benefiting from a line that gets put together. I've been talking about Craig Berube trying to find chemistry all year long. Like, sometimes he kind of, just like any other coach, mixes guys up and things aren't going well, and I'll put some things in a blender and try him with him. And they haven't even had the luxury of being able to do that consistently with all the injuries.
Yeah.
But this is a line that we've been talking about. A third line. You don't need a Pacioretty down there or Tavares or something down there to try to spread the. You need 3 guys like this. They all have enough skill. They all have enough speed, but none of them are super comfortable with their place in life. They need to work their bag off. They need to finish every check. They need to back check. They need to block the shots. They need to make those defensive efforts, all the second efforts, do all the things that don't show up on the score sheet. They have to do those in spades. And when you get 3 guys like them, maybe that's what every single one of them has been begging for it's just chemistry. Like, these 3 guys, they're all doing the same things. They're finding each other. They're getting rewarded for everything. And you just need a line like that to emerge. And then guess what that does? Pushes everybody up to those top two lines. Now, like, you have the luxury of having those three amigos on the first line, and you still have Pacioretty, John Tavares, and Matthew
Yeah.
Nyes on your second one. Like, it's amazing, and you need a line on the third line to do that kind of thing, to give those guys room to gel up top. You're not always breaking them apart to try to spread it out to get this third line going that's been useless as hell, as Robertson and Domi have been for quite a bit. So I don't know what to expect from the future of these guys. They keep playing like that. You know what that means. It's lottery time. Like, that is what you beg for when you put a team together, is to get a third line, a bottom six trio of guys that can play like that. I hope they keep going, but as we know, especially Robertson has had trouble being consistent. So I mean, I don't know what the future holds. I just hope they can access that, and it's not a flash in the pan, man.
That's the key word, Rosie. Consistency. We can get it all as excited as we want about it. It's consistency. And I love what I saw against Buffalo. I love what I saw here tonight from that line, but it's consistency. Like, people in the chat are already getting on me because it's been well documented here how I feel about number 89 and how you guys have spoken about 89. And people are quick anytime he does anything to say, oh, you're an idiot. Look what he did tonight. And that's fair. But my argument has been and still will be, and I'm sure it will be for you guys as well. Don't want to put words in your mouth, but based on speaking to you guys, consistency. That's great. You did it once, you did it twice. Will you do it 3, 4, 5 times? And it doesn't have to be scoring. It's the way you play, that making an impact on the game. So I will admit I'm wrong if that is the case. I like, hand up. That's fine. If he does that and he turns into this player, I'm okay with that. It helps the Leafs. Like, if he's that player, it makes the team better. It gives them a better chance to win. You think I don't want that as a Leafs fan? Obviously I do, but it's consistency. Can he bring that every night?
You are not wrong. You're not proven wrong because Nick Robertson strings 2 good games together, for crying out loud. He's fucking bagels across the board after 18 games.
Hey, I'm getting shit in the chat.
Dude, this guy isn't the answer. He hasn't turned into the prospect we wanted. All we do for 2 years is talk about when will he show up? What can he do? And then he'll come in for 1 game and score a highlight reel goal. And then it's like, yes, okay, like, we know, like, come on, yeah, do it again. Mm-hmm. You can't go 0-1 in 18 games and still have a spot, and everyone's going, don't worry, he's gonna have a big game in December any day now. Like, sorry, as good as he is tonight, you're not wrong for bashing him the entire season. He's got every opportunity in the world. He does fuck all with it. You're allowed to say that. You're allowed to point that out. I want nothing more than for Justin Holl to be the greatest defenseman and win the fucking Norris Trophy the day after I'm trashing him after a horrendous performance. I want everyone to play to the absolute peak of their ability.
Yeah.
But if they're not, we're going to point it out, dude. So don't apologize for ripping on Robertson. He's been terrible all year. Okay. If he wants to turn it around tonight, and maybe he needs to play against his brother every bloody night because he seems to show him up every time they play. But don't apologize for him being garbage. He was garbage. I just don't get the people who are like, either he has to be incredible and I love him no matter what he does, or he's garbage and he needs to go and he's a joke of a league and can't play here anymore. Like, is there not some nuance to this? Jesus. He was been terrible and he's phenomenal the last 2 games. Keep it going, Bobby, and you got a spot on everyone's roster.
That's fair. I was getting shit from the chat, Rosie. That's why I acknowledged it. I've been getting heat from these guys after the last little while.
Show them your betting slip lately. You won't be getting any heat. You've been hot, haven't you?
I'm dialed in right now, Rosie.
Gotta start piggybacking your shit.
We'll talk about that later in the show. The last thing I'll say about that third line, unreal game from them here tonight, all over the board. Getting depth scoring is amazing from these guys as well, and it just felt like a playoff. Like a what's the right way to put it? Like a line that makes an impact in the playoffs the way that they play. You know what I mean? Like that's the style of hockey. Hard, heavy, not taking shit from anybody. Like there was something, it was in the first period, someone like grabbed Nick Robertson's shoulder and Bobby McMahon wheeled in from the top of the circle and just threw a jab to the kidneys and then just stood in front of the guy like, what are you gonna do? And it's like, let's go, because Domi's in there too. And it's like, it's not some big scrum that happens or anything like that, but it's just the off thing that happens on the side that you're like, man, these guys never did that shit. Like they didn't do that. And then you get a guy like Nick Robertson who scores goals. It's like, thank fuck. All three of them got on the board tonight. Jesus.
Domi can score, Robertson can score, and McMahon can score, and they both work their nuts off, and they can both be physical and be agitators, and they're both fast enough, and they're both responsible enough defensively. Like, there is so much potential there that it is scary. And a line like that, think back to all the playoff series the Leafs have had where they get to overtime, but they've been skating in mud and they can't score, but they managed to get into that 2-2 overtime game. Like, if you just had those guys pitch in a goal at the beginning of the second period, those are games you just win in regulation and move on. You do that in the game 1 and game 3, and that's the fucking series. And you watch teams that roll to the Stanley Cup and win it. You look back and you look at that third line that said, remember when they did this? Remember when they did that? It's not the stuff they put on the NHL highlight package at the end of the season, but it's the stuff that gets you there and gets you over that hump when it gets tough. And those guys are fully capable. And I would love nothing more for them to continue this. That team would be bloody unstoppable. It's just, I'm not going to put the cart before the horse, because you got to show me more than 2 games before I start getting, crazy over here. But
you were building statues for Matthew Nyes like 10 games in. Come on.
Rightfully so. 10 games into his career, and now look at him, man. I called that from when he was still wearing his fucking college gear. He's a good guy, good kid. I just had a little character analysis on the kid, and it turns out I happen to be right. But this line could be deadly, man. Show me more. I'm excited, but I've been burnt before, so show me
consistency.
more.
Just consistency.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some super chats here I want you to hear and be a part of. And remember, proceeds from the super chats go to Sick Kids Charity. So great cause for that as well. But we got a couple of super chats, Rosie. So let's play the animation. We'll get to those. All right. Few super chats here. First one. So sang them with the super chat to start the show. We kind of touched on this, but he says, all the sick kids are feeling much better after these great hardworking wins. Ugly W's are great. They give us things to yap about, and we get to enjoy the W. I think that's fair. We can kind of like nitpick a little bit and then also be like, hey, we got 2 points. Nice. It's kind of a good thing.
I take it any day of the week. I'll take one of those.
Yep. So thank you for the super chat there as well. And again, yes, proceeds go to Sick Kids. Tammy sent a super chat with just a cat. Rosie, I don't know if there's like a underlying message there or something that's going on.
Tammy with the little pussycat emoji. Tammy, you are becoming a rotten little thing. Yeah. I am still worried about being catfished though.
Well, Tammy followed it up with another super chat, a massive one here, $20 super chat to the stream here. Thank you, Tammy. Tammy says, why do the Leafs struggle to start games great and only play great hockey the last 20 minutes instead of all 60 minutes? To me, they still struggle to set the tone and don't always dictate games with a plethora of talent, at their disposal. Also, producer Vic is active in the chat right now and has told Tammy that that's 20 more in the Nashville pile. Little
yes, she's invited to Nashville Nation Vacation, and we're gonna put a name to the face with this Tammy girl, but she's having fun with it, I can tell. Why do they start like garbage lately?
Yeah.
Great question. There's it's a better problem to have than not being able to finish a game or close a game, hold on to a lead, make a late comeback. It's way better to not start great. You have more time to put your ducks in a row, but it is a frustrating thing for a coach, right? A coach sits there all day and the guys are having their dick around skate, then they're having their pregame meal, then they go friggin' lay down for 3 hours and they dick around some more and they get ready for the game. And the coach is sitting there just worrying, looking at video, analyzing this, talking to the assistants, talking about this guy, that guy, and all this build up, because you don't have the same control of preparing for actual play to have an effect on the game personally. So it's just different for a coach. And they just go freaking batty when they do all that preparation, try to set the table, get the guys in the right mind frame to perform, and they come out like idiots. It drives them bananas. I know Chief is going to be really trying to figure that out. And why is it, man? I don't know. It's not with this team like being too tight or nervous or anything. I honestly think it's kind of a nonchalantness, at least for the big boys, and for, it's like, I don't want to knock them down and say, I don't want to knock them down after a great win, but they just seem kind of nonchalanty too much, and like, it'll take care of itself, or I'm good enough. We'll just win when I decide to turn it on. And I just don't like the characteristic. When you are the superstars, you should be driving it harder than the third and fourth liner, as far as how hard you're willing to set the tone to make that bad for the rest of the game and for the night. I don't like it, and I don't really know why, but I'll be interested to see, or if we could see behind closed doors, what Chief would do to change it, because it is becoming an issue.
Well, it's weird too. It's like, this is not new to Chief. This is like for this team. I mean, this is something that they've struggled with for a while, like years. I'm talking about with this group. So I don't know. There might be just a bigger issue at play. Honestly, it might just be that we watch them every single game, every single night. These ones stand out more than others. Like, that could honestly be the case here, but it does seem like a thing. And ultimately, like, when you get to the playoffs, again, I hate to do the whole, like, when you get to the playoff thing, but like, when you get to the playoffs and it's hard as fuck to score goals, you don't want to be starting down in the game 1-0 in the first 5 minutes every single night. Like, that's a nightmare to have to be climbing back when it is so hard to get open ice and get scoring chances and to score. And when your power play, which we're going to go to next, Rosie, stinks like shit, like, let's not get ourselves behind the 8 ball before things even get going. So I don't know. I wish I had an answer. I've talked about this on the show many, many times. There's just not too much that I can kind of dig into more on it. It's like, it's unexplainable.
I'm not a stats guy. I don't crunch numbers and go into apps all this deep, but I bet you 5 out of the last 6 games they've got scored on first. And it's beginning. I missed a couple games recently, but the last 7 games, I bet you 5 of them they've been scored on first. And it's not conducive to winning. Like you said, it's really hard in the playoffs if you do that. You don't get through in the playoffs if you do that.
Yeah.
That's the end of the discussion. That's the end of your season. You do not get through not being prepared to start. So it's a habit that you need to access, and it's only full bloody throttle in the playoffs with remember the day 1 of the first round every year. Guys are coming out so guns blazing, it is out of control. And if you're a team that takes it easy in the first 5-10 minutes, you're gonna get shellacked, man. So they need to figure that out. That's probably on the agenda without question. And she's right to bring up that question, because it's becoming a pattern.
Okay, last thing I'll do. We'll do this, and then we'll try to get you out of here on a positive note, because I don't want to make this like 6 1/3. Zack and Rosie, 2 Debbie Downers. What the fuck? What are we Debbie Downers about here tonight? This is a pretty positive show. We just got to point some shit out, man, every now and then.
We won. Like, what else?
Yeah, we're okay.
We won. It's fantastic. We said it's good stuff.
The only negative here, and it's getting to the point, honestly, where every single time that this comes up, like, I just want to shut the TV off, but I can't, because it's also partially like, this is our job to watch this and talk about this. This power play is atrocious. I don't know if this is Mark Savard's fault. I don't know if it's the players on the power play, but like, Rosie, this has reached a point here now where it's infuriating to see the ref's arm go up in the favor of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, I don't even want it. It's like momentum given to the other team when this team goes on a power play. The other team gets more scoring chances and opportunities, and they're breaking everything up, and their bench is going nuts. And then the Leafs are just, when the power play goes on, and I'm like, get off the ice, get back to 5-on-5, or even better, maybe play penalty kill, because you're going 4 for 4 tonight against Dallas, and you're rocking and creating chances on the penalty kill. I've had enough of this power play for whatever the hell reason is going on. Is there anything you can pinpoint here to say that's the issue, this is what we need to fix? Because I've tried every explanation under the book. I've got the whiteboard out here on this show and shown people what I think is happening, and it's just nothing goes right with these guys. Can you give me an answer? Is there anything that's happening?
Okay, well, if we're gonna be negative, I'm gonna say the reason we're doing this is because I am excited as hell about this team. I've been vocal about this.
Yes.
I think they can and will do something special this year, and I've been vocal about that. I am now talking about, okay, we've got the team that could do something special. Now, what do they need to do to make sure it goddamn well happens? What could we improve to make sure we're at the top of the league? If you're going to get to the point where you win a Stanley Cup, you're never satisfied. You're always working on your shit. And you could think that's negative, but I coach kids who are like, I don't need to work on my shot. I'm good enough right now. And then there's kids that think they're great and know they're great, but all they do is work on their shot. That kid's going to be a whole lot better than the first kid. And if you honestly look at your game and what's going on and critique yourself and always try to get better, that's because you believe in yourself and you want to do good things. Boom. Thank you. The power play is a fucking gong show. I have no idea what Marc Savard is doing here, what he came here for, or what his input has been to this group. One iota. I mean, I'm not a power play expert, but I've watched a lot of hockey. I've been part of a lot of hockey. I've seen a lot of power plays. And for this one, like when they're 5-on-5, they're more potent than they are with the man advantage. And I see no structure. I see no common theme. I see everyone absolutely making it up as they go, and everyone else is trying to read and react. And it's a fucking disaster against legit penalty kills in the National Hockey League. Look at the Toronto Maple Leafs penalty kill. Why is it successful? They're structured, they're organized, they all know what the other one's doing, and they have the capabilities to pull it off. And it works. Like, I don't even worry when we get a penalty anymore. We just kill it and move on and get a little sliver of momentum. This power play, man, you need to bring somebody in. You need to overhaul it. You need to do something completely different than what you're doing, because it can't really get any worse with the personnel that you have on it. It's like embarrassing. You guys are some of the best players in the world. All the things you've done this year and the wins you've made and the great season some guys are having and the pedigree that some of them have and the capabilities, and you're telling me this is you with an extra body with that much more ice. It's shocking, man. Like, nobody has a fucking clue what they're doing. They're going up the left side, they're going up the right side, they're going rink wide, they're head manning it, they're dropping it. They don't have I don't feel like they've even spoken about the power play this year, and they're just going by on their own talents, and it's blowing up in their face. But Marc Savard got hired to come here and help with the struggling power play that's killed us in the playoffs, and this is what it is. Like, I'm in shock every time I watch it, dude. And if you think about the special teams and the success of the PK and of the power play, one looks completely organized and one looks completely disorganized. So to me, you have to go to the drawing board and say, what the hell is our system? What are we doing? What are we trying to accomplish? What are our tendencies? What are we trying to stay away from? And put something together. And I can't believe that they've been doing that with that personnel, and that's the result. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I just am at a point where it's like I don't understand it. It's like, are we just beyond here now at this point? Like, system? Is this just mentality? Like, I don't even know. I've tried every excuse in the book that I could even think of to kind of give these guys a reason for why it's not working. It's gone on so long here now. Like, this started at the beginning of the season and it was like, it'll be fine, don't worry about it. And then it was like 15 games in, it was like, well, it's not really fine yet. And then all of a sudden it kicked in for like 5 games and then it tailed off again. And now here we are, game 32, power play still not looking great. I don't know. I wish that I had like a legit answer. The one thing that drives me up the wall every time I watch it is the like double slingshot in the neutral zone. I want to just fucking punch the TV, like stop. But I don't know, that might just be like old man yells at cloud kind of moment. But it's just like shit like that. I'm like, you can't enter the zone, can't set up, and then you get in there and it's like, you have it. It's like fucking Jackie Moon from Semi Pro. I was like, only if you want it, only if you want it. Like,
back to me. Okay, back to you. But like, what is there? Shouldn't you know after watching the Maple Leafs this long, what is their tendencies? I get that plays get broken up and you get defended against and you got to kind of read and react. I get that. Yeah. But the amount that we've played, like what is their breakout and what is their entry? Mm-hmm. And then you get it set up and that's when you can let those guys make the plays and find the seams and draw guys to them and open up space. That's why you're superstars. But as far as getting to that point, every team, I mean, look at the greatest power plays ever. They have structure. They understand what we're all doing. And yeah, maybe you might need to walk it into the middle instead of chipping it on the left side that you have a tendency to, or this guy's pushing the D-men back and then you drop it to so-and-so with speed who's going to try to enter on this left side, or that's just okay, but it doesn't always work that way. I get it. But they just fucking, I'm just like, well, I don't, look at, they're bumping into each other out there. They're skating through each other's lanes. They're drop passing it up some guy's ass. It doesn't even fucking know where the puck is, man. It's wild. And that's, I mean, I can only watch that for so many months before even a plug like me says, what are you guys doing out there? Like, even if you were just like, any coach could just be like, hey, we just have to simplify down to some X's and O's. This is what we're trying to accomplish. Yeah, you got to read and react, and you guys are talented enough to figure out when you got the pressure and when you got to take some space here and there. But this is what we're trying to accomplish each time. We think this gives us the best chance to regain possession, get a setup, and start working, around their box. But it's like they haven't even got to that page of the fucking notebook, and it's mind-boggling, man. It really is.
I know. I'm like at a loss at this point. 6 1/3 says Berube should start 5D on the power play, Zach. Maybe that might, or just put the third line out there.
That's not. I don't. Berube doesn't run the power play. This is like Mark Savard. You got hired to come here. Like I'm looking. I've been quiet and I haven't said his name, but you hire a guy to come here strictly, and when they hired him, they're like, Calgary's power play wasn't that good. Like, why him out of all the human beings that were available? Like, they must know something we don't know.
Yeah.
And then this, like, if fucking I got hired this summer to take those guys and do a power play, I would be horrified by what they're doing out there, and just, I would be like, I'm a nightmare. I cannot have this job. I need to quit. I need to step down. This is pathetic. I have no idea what I'm doing. Look at the product. Like, look what they're trying to do out there every single time. It's quite shocking. So I have no reason to be on Mark Savard's side or to back him up or have any faith in him. I have zero reason to. I'm just questioning, like, where do you go from here? Are you going to make some changes? Are you going to try to do something? You can try to put something together that has a semblance of a power play, regardless of who these guys are. Dumb it down to the lowest friggin' denominator of midget hockey and take it from there and see what they can do. They're talented enough. It's the structure and the system that is just non-existent, man.
I know. You know what they do in the NFL with like an offensive coordinator or a special teams coordinator? If 5 games into the season, their department isn't operating efficiently?
Sayonara.
See you, buddy. It doesn't seem to happen too much here, but that might be one area to look at.
How far down the totem pole is Mark Savard too? I mean, you could grab, at this point, from what we've seen, you could grab anybody. You could grab Boudreau. I mean, Nick's tweeting about him. He's seen that deadly Washington power play go. Throw anyone else in there. What the fuck does it hurt? No cap problems, no money problems. This is a joke.
Yeah.
Go to something else, anything else.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to a positive here. You've been very generous with your time. I appreciate it. Don't want to take too much more.
Been very negative. I want to go positive too. Sorry.
Let's go. No, that was needed. And I think That was one of the ones that the chat is not mad at us about, because the chat
Good, 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 good.
loses their mind over this power play when I lose my mind. So it's
It's the
like,
Nicky
it's
Bobby
unison.
Bobertson that it's the
Yeah,
Bobby
that's
Bobertson that tweaks them out a little bit.
oh,
Okay, I got it.
there's
I got it.
people with wires crossing in the chat when I bring that guy up. It's
That's all
not
right.
good. Yeah.
That's all right.
Let's go positive. I talked about, oh, is it a bad thing if your goaltending is winning you games? And I'm talking big picture here, right? I'm talking big picture. Let's just focus on the goaltending here tonight. Joseph Woll has himself an outstanding game. 923 save percentage. He makes 36 saves here tonight. He's the first star of the game. The guy was out of his mind. Out of his mind. It's not just making saves and making a lot of saves, Rosie. It's timeliness, making big saves in a big moment. You know, third period there, you're up a goal, you're up 2 goals at certain points. Dallas is bringing crazy amounts of pressure, getting tips in front. He's tracking everything. He's not swimming around. He looks calm. He looks poised. He doesn't get too high, too low, nothing. What'd you make of Joseph Woll's game here tonight and how he's played? I mean, honestly, so far this season, because the goaltending tandem has been amazing. Hopefully Stolarz gets back in net here soon, but Joseph Woll, out of his mind here tonight.
Yeah, it's been a dream with the duo. I mean, Stoli speaks for himself. We all know what he's done here, and he was kind of the 1B kind of guy, coming in a little bit unproven, kind of always been a backup, but tons of potential. And Woolsey's been the guy, like, he should be our big boy. He's ready to go. He's shown flashes of it, but can he stay healthy? Okay, whatever. And then he kind of has to take a backseat to Stoli a little bit. Inevitably, we're going to be relying on Woll at some point in the time. Pay attention to him. He needs to be good. He needs to look good. He does look good. And then here it is. Stoli's down. He's gone for the foreseeable future. We don't want to rely on Hildeby and Murray. Like, are you kidding me? Thank God we have Woll. And then he just steps up and says,
"Hey, whoa. Murray got a shutout today, okay? Murray got a shutout today."
And I think they're going to call him up, and that's all fine. But you go without Woll now and watch the panic set. It's not where you want to be. Woll was fantastic tonight. He's been fantastic all year. Yeah. And like you said, like, when I think of a goalie that plays just a really unbelievable game and should be like the first star, it's when he makes like 3 to 4 of those saves where you're kind of already like kind of sitting back in your chair going, God damn it, they got one on us. Like, you read it, they're dead, they're lost, they found it, they're backdooring it, or it's that breakaway and you're like, fuck, and then boom, they save it. Oh, we're in it. We still contain the lead that we had. We still are in control of the play that we were doing. And they do that, 3 times in a game, especially towards the end. And then you just get used to it. And that's in between all the routine saves where they're in complete proper positioning and they're not swimming around. He just does that all game long. And by the end of it, you look back and you say, he did a lot. Because all it takes is one. All it takes is one little, shit. Yeah, too bad he didn't have that one. And then it's a completely different game. Like, take the halfway point of that game and it's 2-2. Instead, if he kind of wasn't quite there for that one, it's 3-2 for Dallas, and we just can't get the lead. We can't get the momentum. Like, it's a totally different ball game. They keep you in the game. They stick you in the game. And I don't think it's a negative, because if it was a negative, they would be swimming all over, making acrobatic saves, getting peppered like crazy. The guys in front would be useless and acting lost and sliding all over the place. And it would be like, you can't rely on that every night. That is not sustainable, what you're bloody well doing there. And that's when your goalie bails you out to win one, when it's like, sorry, but this isn't a good thing. I don't think that's the case with Woolsey. He's just that friggin' good. So has Stoli. And yeah, the guys play well in front of them. They don't play perfect. Nobody does. But when you need those 2 or 3 saves, the guys make them. And that adds up over the course of 60 minutes. It adds up over the course of a season. And I'm very thankful he's here in Stoli. It's nobody wins the cup. Nobody goes for deep playoff runs without goaltending. And we've got 2 of the guys that are looking like they're as good as anybody in the league. That is something to be happy about.
I think he was unbelievable here tonight, and if it's not for him, this one could have been a very, very different looking game here tonight. So good on him. But Rosie, I appreciate you doing this. You want to know something here? I forgot about it, and I just got a notification telling me you brought up the bets. I told you guys before the game. I said Nick Robertson.
Yeah.
That's what I had. William Nylander. I also had Willie Nye over 1.5 goals. I forgot about it. Guy had 2 on the empty net. Nylander.
Oh, you did too? The greasy backdoor W's. Hey, good for you, man. You've been telling me some stuff that's been looking pretty sharp, and I've been getting lit on fire. So my whole account was on this win, money line, and 3-way win. So I'm pretty happy about this one.
Go.
I needed it. All the boys are selling nothing but good things in Leafs Nation right now. I love it.
That's good stuff. Rosie, thank you as always for doing this. I appreciate it. We're just going to have to book you for like every single game that's like a tough game or a big game or something, because we just win. Every time you come on the show, we win.
And I thought like the first game or the first time I came on this show, we got absolutely shellacked, and then maybe not great. I can't remember. It started off when I was going to be like, I'm not doing this anymore if this is what it's going to be like, because there's negative town. But I'd way rather do the ones like this and then the total blowouts where we can just have a big circle jerk. Whatever works. I'm down for both.
Yeah, you and I had like a one screaming show, I'm pretty sure, like at the beginning. And then it was like, what is wrong with this team? How could this start this way? It might have been the Montreal game to start the season. I think that might be what it was.
It was probably game 1, and I was like, oh, this sucks doing these right now. Hey, if it becomes a pattern, I'm here every time, buddy. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you. There you go. Jay Rosehill hopping on to help us break this one down here tonight. Digging into everything that went right and some of the stuff that wasn't so great with this Leafs team here tonight. But nonetheless, we appreciate Rosie for helping us out here on the post-game show every single time. That's why you guys subscribe here to the channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, whether it's videos that come out, pre-game shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time with Rosie, Nick, Carter Hutton hopping by, Nick's special guest that he's had as the co-host here and there, David Pagnotta hopping in there with them as well. But plenty of stuff. We got almost 200 people watching. No reason we can't get this thing up to 200 likes here on the stream tonight, or to 100 likes here on the stream tonight with 200 people watching. We did hit 50 during the show, and then we do have another super chat, so we'll get to that as well. Thank you so much to everyone who's liked and sent those super chats. Keep hitting that like button throughout the stream. If you appreciated Rosie hopping by, hit that like button. Let's run it up. But thank you guys. We'll do the smelling salts at 50. We'll get it back at 100 here again. Thanks for the likes. Let's get the smelling salts. Oh. There we go. Oh my God. Dave Bem says that Marner playoff rant was the one that got him hooked here. That was an all-time rant. That's a rant I'll never forget. I started here with this show or with this channel in March of that year, so I didn't know Rosie and Nick that well. I was just kind of getting used to them, getting used to the whole show, the program, how everything went. And then it was game 4 of the playoffs. We're talking about this run, we're all excited. Game 4 happens, Rosie comes on and just tears a strip off the team. And I just sat there after. I was like, wow, we are in this thing. We are really in this thing. So what a rant that was from Rosie about it. But yeah, all-timer. We appreciate Rosie hopping by. And things have been better this season. I think he might have turned things around after last year when he got that one out of the way. Just torched the team, got it out, just ripped a strip off of them. And then all of a sudden, things have gone our way since Rosie comes on the show here. We have great games and big wins and defeating good teams when Rosie's on the post-game show. We do have another super chat. We'll get out of here shortly because it is a later one. Tonight did start late, but let's get to the super chat that we've got here. Berube effect on Rosie too. Yep, clearly. There you go, Vic. Super chat from our guy, Robert Smith. Robert, thank you for the super chat there. Appreciate it as always. And he says, snot-nosed kids, take my $5. Yes, for whatever reason you want to send it, whatever messages, I don't really care. I appreciate the super chats in general. The proceeds go to the Sick Kids charity. So thank you guys very much there. Every time you comment, send the super chats there, it does help go to a great cause. So thank you guys very much. Billy T, Zach, you sound like you were feeling better Must have tried all those home remedies the chat suggested last time. Some, not all, some. I was taking ginger and like vitamin C and all that kind of stuff. Feeling better here for sure, but kind of coming off the tail end of that sickness. Heading in the right direction though, so thank you guys in the chat for all the suggestions. Let's get to our best bet segment here tonight. Things went well for us on the pregame show here tonight, and if you listen along, then I think that if you watched it, if you tailed, hopefully things went well for you as well. If you didn't watch or you didn't tail, I don't know what you're doing. It's time for you to subscribe here to Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. We got videos, interviews, live shows, post-game shows, morning shows, in the playoffs, we had pre-game shows. We've got it all here on the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. And as Vic is saying, subscribe if you haven't, like if you haven't. Thank you, Vic. Thanks for reminding the people. Like for Vic. If not for me, like for Vic. Vic deserves a like. But let's get to our best bet segment here tonight. Talk about what we had and what went right for us. Our best bet segment is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and Leafs Nation after dark. Open an account, Bet365 today, and bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. That's code NATION, all caps, N-A-T-I-O-N. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. All right. Tonight's best bet went our way. We were on a freezer. Like, let's call it what it is. We were on an absolute freezer here on the show. I cannot beat around it in any way other than my bets stunk. I lost a lot in a row, and I was feeling really bad. I was feeling bad. We were throwing out some long shots, losing. We were throwing out some regulars, losing. We were throwing out some favorites, losing. Like, this was just an atrocious stretch for us here on the pregame show and our best bets and everything. But tonight, we get in the right direction. Tonight, we get everything back because we are the greatest gambling show in the world. I'm just kidding. I love Miracle on Ice, and it was a good opportunity for me to throw that one in there based off of whatever incoherent rant I had started with already, and I thought that that was a good direction to go with. But $20, a fifth of a unit of our $100 unit at plus 500 on Nick Robertson anytime goal. Profits us $100 here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're trying to hit big pluses here. We're trying to get ourselves cash in these big ones, taking some long shots, taking some risks, trying to figure out what we can find over on Bet365 that just may not be being priced accordingly. And Nicky Bobby with Bobby McMahon, Max Domi, those guys in a game where you're going to play against a Dallas team that is tough. They are physical. They are heavy. They want to play a hard game of hockey. That third line, somehow, based on how they played against Buffalo, was screaming to me this was a game they were going to be involved in. And on top of that, the other thing I was thinking when I was watching them was, you know what? Nick Robertson against his brother, against the Stars, maybe parents in the stands. Maybe, just maybe, we were going to have an opportunity to cash here. And we did it. $20 at plus 500 cashes us there. That brings us to 11-26 on the season. Guys, it's not about the record. I told you that at the beginning. We're probably going to be below 500 on the record. But it's about what you're hitting, what your ROI is. And we get this one, 11-26. It brings us down 1.5 units on the season. We still got some work to do. It's not all sunshine and rainbows here now. We can't just sit back and relax. We have to keep pushing. We have to keep making smart bets. We have to gamble responsibly. But for the time being, I'm pretty happy with this one. So there you go. That is our best bet for the night. We are almost at 100 likes here on the stream. Make sure to keep hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Couple more things to get to before we get out of here. Let's get to, first and foremost, our play of the game. Okay, play of the game for me. You know what? It's going to be another double. And we also, I didn't even talk about the Pacioretty hit here tonight. That was an unbelievable hit by him. I think it was a clean hit. It was a great hit. The other thing is, like, I listened to the panels talk about it, and they're like, you know, he's going to have to respond for hitting hard. Really? Why? He has to respond for hitting hard? Like, he's got to respond for making massive clean hits? Why? That's part of the game, is it not? It's a legal hit, is it not? But whatever. I just wanted to mention that as we're getting to our play of the game. It's not my play of the game, but it was an awesome hit by Max Pacioretty. My play of the game is going to be the Joseph Woll save. Getting across, making that backdoor glove save. It's third period. It's could very easily shift the momentum in that game, give it back to the Stars, give them something, some sort of life, some sort of something to grasp, to hold on to. And it's just, I said it with Rosie when he was on here, and it's nice to have those goaltenders, but it's like, and these moments, but it's like, it was a great time, great moment, and a highlight reel all at the same time, where it just can energize the bench and give you more life than you already had, because you watch that, you're fired up about the save, but you're also fired up because it's a big moment. It's a key moment. It's an important moment in that game where if that puck goes in the back of the net, things could be very, very different. It's deflating. It's a bad giveaway that you've given up, a bad chance that you've had. You allowed them to have their, like, whatever. And there's all these things that can contribute to that. But that save was outstanding, and Joseph Woll was outstanding here tonight. So that's a play of the game. Two other plays of the game that I want to kind of throw in here. They're not really honorable mentions because they're like right up there, and on any other given night, they probably would have been plays of the game. I don't know, like, what our rulings here. I guess I make the rules, so it doesn't really matter. But what the rulings here on this is. But Nick Robertson twice. The first one is his steal, where he steals that thing in the slot, turns around, and fires through Ottinger's legs. Beautiful goal. So kudos to him on that. It's just a hustle play. It is being stronger than the guy. It is winning a neutral, a middle open ice battle, not a neutral zone, an open ice battle there. Wins that puck, turns around, makes a great read, gets that thing off quickly, beats Ottinger. The second one is that third line again, and it is Nick Robertson again. It is him in the neutral zone area as he's kind of coming back out of the zone, breaks the play up at the blue line, stops it, picks off the pass, hits Bobby McMahon going in motion the other way into the offensive zone, who steps in and rips one past Ottinger under his glove over his pad. That was a beautiful goal by Bobby McMahon, but is set up by a great hustle play by Nick Robertson and a great defensive stop by Nick Robertson as well. As harsh as we can be on him on this show here, I think a lot of it is warranted because we're never really overly frustrated about the player he is. We're frustrated about the consistency that he brings and how it fits in the lineup. And this game tonight was unbelievable from that line, and Nick Robertson played a huge part of it. So kudos to him. Those three plays I wanted to shout out here tonight. Those were some awesome ones. Also, kudos to John Tavares on the William Nylander empty net. It's him over on the wall, getting himself in the right place, right time, kind of getting in there to get in the battle and retrieve that puck, gets it over to Nylander, who goes down the ice and scores. Great play by John Tavares as well. Those are the plays of the game. Last thing we got to do before we get out of here, while you guys hit that like button, because we're only 7 away from more smelling salts to finish this. Players of the game, third line, and Joseph Woll, I would throw in there as well, but Billy T says players of the game, third line. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I just would add on Joseph Wall into that. But keep liking. Let's get to our grades of the game. You guys send your grades in the chat. It's a strange one because I don't think that this was like an unbelievable game from the Leafs here tonight. I think a lot of this had to do with Ottinger really not being that great. Deserved to win a meter yet again here. Dallas 79.4% on this one. The Leafs 20.4%. It's bouncing around. That's why I'm changing the numbers that I'm saying. Deserved to win a meter 20.7%, 79.4% for Dallas Stars. Outside of that though, guys, like, this is a really good comeback victory after starting really slow. Your penalty kill was out of its mind. Your power play has a lot of work to do, but you got dominated in the first and you found a way to get through it. Joseph Wall found a way to battle through for this team there tonight. When, I mean, he comes out and lays an egg in the first period. That thing's over. Like, this team has zero shot. So for them to find a way and get this done here tonight, I think was a great kind of bounce back after what they did in the first period. Good on the Maple Leafs to turn this thing around and get a good win here tonight against the Dallas Stars, who have been unbelievable at home so far this season. So kudos to them for that one. I think I'm going to go with a B+ on the night. Realistically, you don't win this one. It's probably like a C-, maybe like a D, but result is always going to swing you positively. Penalty kill swings positively here. The third line was amazing, and goaltending was amazing. So I'll give them credit for that stuff and kind of getting themselves back, regrouping after a crappy first. B+. Honestly, B. I felt uncomfortable with the plus after I said it the second time. I'm going with the B. B is a fine grade, I think. That's it for tonight's show. I appreciate you guys for liking the stream, subscribing to the channel here. All the support you guys have given here. We're trying to get to 14,000 subscribers by Christmas. We are very, very close at this point. All you guys got to do is hit that like button, share the stream, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. It helps get the show out there. It helps get more visibility on the show. It helps get more eyes on the show. So we thank you guys as well for your participation every single night on the post games, during the live shows, on Leafs Morning Take, all that kind of stuff. Tomorrow morning, by the way, Nick and Carter Hutton in the co-host chair and John Shannon stopping by the show to join the boys to talk about everything going on with the Leafs, around the NHL, and in his life. So make sure to tune in and check that one out. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. You know what? We'll do it anyways, but you got to get it to 100. We're at 98. I'll just give you guys one. Get it to 100 anyways, because I help you out. But 98. Thanks for liking the stream. 99 there. Smelling salts before we leave. Thank you, everybody. Oh. There you go, 100 anyways, right as I did it. So thank you for liking the stream. That'll do it for me here tonight. What do we got? Leafs back on Friday. His Leafs team plays Friday. Oh, in Buffalo. Huh. In Buffalo on Friday. That'll be an interesting one. The Sabres kind of in shambles right now. So we'll see how the Leafs show up on this road trip here. Dallas, Buffalo. See if they can figure it out and pull off another win against the Sabres. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back on Friday for another Leafs pregame, for another Leafs Nation After Dark, all that good stuff. Thank you guys very much for liking, subscribing, tuning in. See you guys on Friday. And this has been game number 3. I almost forgot to do just the entire actual real outro. That's on me. This has been game number 32, the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, defeating the Dallas Stars here tonight. 5-3, moving to 20-10-2 on the season, holding first spot in the Atlantic Division. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on Friday. Keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos. Make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.